Good morning, friends. This is an exciting opportunity that I want to share with you. Welcome to this session about the Enterprise Development Initiative to develop suppliers to big companies in the Saldanha Bay Industrial Development Zone, which we for short would call the IDZ, which might be known to a lot of you already. Now, the South African Excellence Model, in short SAEM, is a tool to implement world-class continuous improvement for a business. A local company there from your world is a Business Hub was appointed to identify the first 40 SMEs to benefit from this great project. Please feel free to use the chat function as we go through this introduction of this model. And we are very fortunate to have this morning an expert on the SA Excellence Model, founder and MD of SA Business Hub, Luther Diedrichs, to take us through the SA Excellence Model and introduce us to where does it fit in, why do we need even to talk about this at all. So Luther, we're looking forward to you sharing your expertise and knowledge with us. And please, I hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Carol. I'm looking forward to this journey and sharing my experience and my passion with the delegates we have online. What are we going to see in this presentation? The idea is for participants to gain understanding of the South African Excellence Model in the quest for excellence in business. It might not be known exactly what it means, but as I go through the presentation, it will become clearer and clearer. What will I deal with? I'll give you an overview of the what, the why, and the how of excellence. The role and application of excellence models worldwide, and then specifically the customized South African excellence model, as we abbreviate SAEM. Applications of the SAEM, advantages of using the SAEM, and then specifically how will it be phased in this IDZ ED project. What is the excellent business? You can get 1,001 answers to it. But excellence models describe that the excellent business is one that does all the right things excellently, the first and every time, leading to excellent results in all activities throughout the business, resulting in well-satisfied customers and stakeholders with a sustainable growth rates in the long term. Excellence models enable businesses to assess themselves against the above definitions. Now, just some background to excellence models. In the 1980s, the Japanese dominated world markets, and that gave rise to a whole new initiative in different parts of the world, especially America, but a bit more about that later. In the 1990s, the information technology revolution took hold, and the world became a global economic village. And since 1998, there's a World Competitive Report comparing 140 countries worldwide in terms of their ranking and their practicing the 12 pillars of economic growth in a country. What's the fundamentals of excellence models? It provides a framework to assess, to diagnose your business, creates the evidence to focus on the critical few improvement opportunities, and also forms the basis to reward outstanding achievement because it's validated and it can be ranked to choose about the best achievers. Some background to the Excellence Awards. The Deming Prize already started in 1952. Deming is deemed to be the father of excellence and excellence practices worldwide. He really proved himself after World War II in having this tremendous growth in the economy in Japan. Between 50 and 60, there was a radical upliftment of the economy, and really, here in the 80s, really starting to dominate the market. And this worried the rest of the world. In 1987, America said, what can we do to catch up with the Japanese? Because they're taking over all our markets. And then they developed the Malcolm Baldrige National Award, but also the Baldrige model, which is, I would say, the mother of all excellence models worldwide. Australia followed in 1988, European quality in 1989. That's Africa, we were a bit slow to get out of the blocks. Only in 1997, we really came on board, but it took us 3 years before we could award the first prize to an excellent organization. And the winner thereof was Honeywell, South Africa. What is the South African excellence model? It is a self-assessment tool. It's generic. It's not prescriptive. It gives you or ask questions that you need to ask yourself and prove that you are doing that. It's diagnostic in nature. It's an international benchmarking tool, and I'll share a bit more about that later as well. It's a holistic, total systems model, giving you all the facets that needs to be addressed in a business. It gives a measure of international excellence, competitiveness. Because the world is an island. We are competing worldwide, and we need to become excellent to be able to compete. It's fully qualified, proven results. It's standardized internationally, and it's recognized internationally to reward excellence. It gives a true indication of a business position on an international accepted scale. What's the benefit of using a holistic assessment? By using a holistic international qualified assessment tool, every action in the business is evaluated. One gains assurance that good results will be achieved. And when I explain the model a bit later, this will become very clear. Assessing the results confirms the health of the actions taken to create the results, or is an indicator of areas for improvement. You take the road of becoming an excellent business, which does their processes consistently, excellently, by applying the methodology of the excellence model. Now you might ask, are they successful? Let's answer that question through research that was done in Australia. They used a scatter diagram to plot the results, the scores of the different businesses, and then their return on investment or their KPI improvements. And they found the correlation to be as high as 70%. As you can see, the lower the score, the lower the return for the business. And as the score goes up, it means the maturity of the business in applying best practices gets improved, the score goes higher, the results become better. And this continuously goes forward. There's basically 3 steps that you normally take. At first, you become competent in applying business improvement and development. The next step is to become certified. And then the last, you're accredited. And then you are like ISO 9001. You are audited on a regular basis to prove that you are actually what you claim to be. So we can see the results shows for itself. The more you practice, the better the results of your business. Now let's look a bit more in detail to the SA Excellence model. It's got two parts, as we said before. It's got the results area. The essence of this model is, before, we only had a look at business results, financial results. The triple bottom line these days is we need to look at people and environment as well. That's why we have 4 different and additional results areas. What impact do we make on society? Do we satisfy our customers? Do we satisfy the people that work for us? Are they proud to work for us? And then, what is the nature of our partnerships of the suppliers? Because they all add to and show our results. On the other side of the coin, to achieve the results, there are 6 enablers that needs to be done. It's leadership, focusing and driving policy strategy, customer and market focus, people management, and resource and information management. And then establishing and mapping and improving the processes for these to ultimately lead to the desired results. There's the whole picture. Leadership works with the enablers and the process for it to achieve the results. As you see, leadership leads through the enabling factors, and the practice excellently gives you excellent business results. Then at the same time, the business results is like a dashboard for the leadership to see this is what's working, this is what's not. And then we go back to the enablers to see what can we do, because we know where the problems areas are. And more specifically, more than 2 million executive hours went in to standardize and validate not only what is the 11 factors that actually makes a difference in a business becoming excellent, but also giving it the relative weighting. As you see, the results takes up 50% of the scores. And enablers, so it's 2 sides of the coin. You can't have results without enabling them. And then, as you would see, customers and people actually makes up nearly 50% of the model. Customer and market focus 6% enabler, 17% results. You see, you just don't have to do the good things. The customer must feel and have the perspective that they indeed are satisfied with what you deliver. Same with people. 9% that the processes, we make them work efficiently. And then another 9% to ensure they are satisfied. All of these 11 factors, once you do the self-assessment thereon, gives you detail on how to improve and take your business forward. Let's just have a quick look on customer focus, customer and market focus, just to see what it's about. And then we're only going to do in this training the customer focus and then the customer satisfaction, just so you can see the relevance between the two. But once you actually do the self-assessment for this program, you will be self-assessing all factors as you apply it in your business. What is customer and market focus? It gives you a definition, because if you ask 10 people, you get 10 different opinions. How the business determines needs, requirements, and expectations, enhances relationships, and determines satisfaction of customers and markets. What do we look at? How customer and market intelligence is determined. How do you gather the information about your customers and your markets? And how do you measure your satisfaction of your customers? And how do you apply that? This is the enabling side. And let's move over to the satisfaction side. Sorry, one step back. What we would do in the market focus and the customer focus areas, we would ask questions to ourselves like, what do we do to listen and learn from our customers? It evaluates, processes, and acts on information received. It determines customer contact requirements and deploys the requirements to all employees, not only to a certain area of the employment, it must go through the whole organization. Follow up with customers on service and projects to receive prompt and actionable feedback. Resolves complaints promptly and effectively. As you see, not rocket science, but so important that we do these things, and you can judge for yourself your experience with some other companies that you deal with. Customer satisfaction. What does this do? What's the definition? What the business is achieving in relation. The enabler, what do you do to measure and apply and listen and react? The results, what are you achieving? The facts and figures of what you are actually achieving. What's the critical parts, the criterion parts that's evaluated or questions raised for? Self-assessment should demonstrate the performance of the business in satisfying the needs, requirements, and expectations of its external customers. This should be shown by presenting results, trends, targets, and comparisons with competitors or best-in-class business. Information on the relevance of the measurement to the customer should also be presented. See, this is what enabling means. If you do the enabling, then you should be able to get facts and figures on the result side. What do we address? Areas to address could include measurements used by business to understand, predict, and improve the satisfaction and loyalty of the market and external customers. Services and projects, accessibility of services, responsiveness and flexibility in meeting market needs, defect, error, and waste, reliability and sustainability of service, cost of service, response time, percentage of complaints resolved on the first contact, documentation, simplicity, convenience, and accuracy. Again, not rocket science, but just things that we want ourselves with the products and services we make use of. We should offer the same benefit to our clients and our customers and our market. Now, a background on the SA Excellence model. Now, just to give you a kind of a bird's eye view of the assessment process that we will take you through and you will benefit from for your organization. At first, we use numbers just to give us an indication of what we are dealing with. The project, the initiative focuses at first on the roundabout 700 businesses registered on the GrowNet base that serves the IDZ. From that 700, we estimate around about 170 will meet the requirements and will be business ready, so we can take them one step further. What will we do in this one step? At first, the 170 will do a self-assessment of their business using the SA Excellence model. We will be supplying a template which you can complete online and resubmit to us. And at the same time, you can use that as a yardstick to start your business improvement journey. From the results we receive, we will determine and assess the top 60. And the top 60 will take further to another step. We will expose them or give them opportunity to do their entrepreneurial level. So the SAE Excellence model looks at the business, and the eScan looks at the entrepreneur or the business owner. And collectively, we find that as a yardstick determine the top 40 from the Excellence model and the eScan. We'll have a specific training on the eScan when we get there. So this stage we just mentioned it, but we're giving you the detail of the Excellence model because that's the first one we'll be applying. And then the ultimate goal is to find gaps for the top 40 and agree on developmental goals and facilitate individual bespoke development plan. That should excite you to be part of such initiative, and the SBIDZ is applauded to take the lead in this regard on the West Coast. What is the advantages of doing the assessment? The total score gives an indication of a business standing on the international accepted scale. You will know where on that curve you are, and that will explain why you are doing well or not doing so well. By analyzing the scores of each criterion, the 11 parts, their areas to address, a business can, for every aspect of the business, identify in detail where it has strengths to work on, but also areas for improvement, which they can make their business excellent and enhance the excellence in the market. From this holistic perspective, for exploiting strengths and initiating critical improvements should become the prime source of information for the strategic process. So whether you're going to be the top 60 that will advance to maybe make the top 40, doesn't matter. Participating in this assessment will give you this advantage that you can, on your own, kickstart your business improvement process. Some planned milestones. By the 29th of April, you'll receive the slides and a recording. And before, you are invited to do the self-assessment. So just to kind of learn about the excellence model and to listen to this video and view the video to prepare you for the assessment that will follow. By 6 May, we will send you a link to the SAE Excellence model in an Excel spreadsheet document where you can do your self-assessment, capture such information, and return to us online. By 24 May, so it's roughly about nearly 3 weeks, you have to do the self-assessment. The cutoff date for this is 24 May. And then we will start evaluating to determine the top 60 with the least development areas that would go through to the final consideration for the top 40. By 14 June, the top 60 will be notified and introduced to eScan. Also a link to scan slides and recording we will be making in due course. 18 June, email with a link to the top 60 to do their eScan assessment. You'll be quite excited about this once you see it and understand yourself and your knowledge in comparison with international practices that will give you a whole new idea of where your business can be going. And the 5 July, cutoff date for the eScan to be completed. And by 26 July, top 40 to be notified and informed of the next step. You make the top 40, then we will interact with you on a one-to-one basis to really develop bespoke development plan for you and submit that to the IDZ to consider what actions will take further. This completes my presentation. Any questions? But if you have any questions on this model at a later stage, feel free to email them me and I will respond to each and every one. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Luther. This is a mouthful, I must say. I think people seeing and hearing this for the first time might feel a bit overwhelmed. You know, this big picture thinking about competitiveness in the world and where do I fit in. But at the same time, we understand, if I understand it correctly, we understand that the target entrepreneurs here are aimed to be competing on an international level in the IDZ with international supplying to international companies. So I understand this is important. Am I correct?
Definitely. And as with the competitive reports, it's a grave concern for the country that we are, since 2016, we are dropping. Where we were 47th out of 140 countries, we dropped to 67 last year. So we dropped about 20 spaces. So we are running slower and other countries running faster. They're going to take away our markets if we do not step up and become more excellent.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's great. It's great. I see we've got a few questions from that was posted here in the chat. Maybe you can now, for the moment, stop sharing your screen, and that they can see a little bit more about your face, and then we can. Yeah, I think some important questions here. That I think which is important for everybody. You can just say stop share.
I'm just trying to open the.
That's fine. I've done it.
Okay, you've done it right.
So I'll just quickly go to my screen to share and cancel that. All right.
Okay, now I can.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
We're back. We're back. So Luther, I think a few important questions here that are raised. So I can see people are engaged. What methodology was used to allocate the percentage to various enablers? So you had that graph with all the percentages and the points for each of the elements. How was that allocated?
When America developed the Baldrige model, they formed a task group of chief executives that spent more than 2 million executive hours and researching and quantifying and determining the 11 factors and the contribution and the role that it plays. And to give you an idea how well it worked, the Baldrige model that America used, they were afraid of Japan in the 80s, but today America is the #1 performing country in the world on a competitive report.
Yeah.
This is what the Baldrige model did for the country as a whole. But even Japan, they're still #9. So you don't ever lose your touch. You just stay up on the best, and you can do business with the best.
Yeah. Then I see here, and now you've touched on it, but maybe just to highlight some more, what benefits besides just being competitive and becoming more competitive? What other benefits are there for participants in this program specifically to do this assessment? What's the benefit beyond the assessment?
The real benefit is that your business results will improve. The bottom line, making more turnover, more profit, improved customer relations, and better return business. And last but not least, your people. You will now start focusing on people, and the people will start becoming entrepreneurs and taking charge of the business and seeing the business as their own. And that will make the business really excellent.
Yeah, and if I understand correctly, as per those phases that you had, that this is a stepping stone. If you want to get to the eScan opportunity for entrepreneurial profile, you first must pass this test.
That's right. Definitely. Right. The top 60, we take the top 60, and then the top 60 will do the eScan. And then we take the results of both evaluations, and that will give who's the best score for the top 40. Yeah.
Then I know you've shown it, but it seems like some people missed some timelines. So can we maybe just say again, how much time would they have to complete the SA Excellence Model Assessment?
The SA Excellence is roughly 18 days, roughly 3 weeks.
That is ample. Yeah. Because naturally a question that might be in the back of the minds of the people the second question on that is, would there be any assistance? So naturally they might be concerned that they struggle, and it's not a lot of time if they struggle, but are there assistance available if they struggle?
Definitely. They should not have any problems with the training and the video regarding using the model. And it's a matter of answering questions. It's not kind of a difficult portion to do, but it can be daunting for some businesses that's never experienced this. We understand that. And that's why, just to make, because there will be large numbers, unfortunately, I won't be able to interact with them verbally. But if they act with me by email, I will gladly supply them. And if we have a number of results, we could even have a follow-up webinar just to kind of inform them and clarify some generic questions. But where we practiced this before, the inquiries was few and little in between. The most they could grasp it, because it's not rocket science. It's practical business applications.
Yeah, I must say that I've seen the tool, and it's very logical and step by step. So it's more about discipline than difficulty.
Yes,
I think so. Luther, thanks a lot. I think so important not just to do the tool, but understanding the context and the bigger picture, and that your business is actually a player or preparing to be a player if you're not already one, to play on the big stage, on the international stage. And for that you need to prepare properly like an Olympic athlete. And thanks a lot. And it's nice to know that in the background, if we have a problem, we have you with your deep experience of assessment in general, not only on this tool, but as an individual. And thank you very much. And yeah, from my side, great session. Appreciate. Enjoy your day, and goodbye to everybody.
Thank you very much. And we're looking forward to this exciting journey with the IDZ, and as the logo says, unleashing the entrepreneurial revolution in the West Coast.
Great stuff. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Keep well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.